Hey garden lovers, this is our Battling Garden Pests series, episode 5. We're going to discuss soft-bodied insects like aphids, whiteflies, spider mites, and mealybugs. Yep, mealybugs, that's a new one for us here this year. The great news is, since they are soft-bodied insects, there's no need for neem oil. Just plain Bronner soap and water. That mixture does the trick. But there are some keys to this treatment to make sure that you are successful. I will discuss those in this video. Also, we have a couple other series underway. We have our Become an Expert Chili Pepper Grower series. Whether you like sweet, mild, hot, or super hots, if you found it frustrating to grow chili peppers, because they are tricky and they can be very sensitive, then make sure to follow that series. Just a minute ago, we were showing the aphids. And here you can see we have whiteflies as well. And we'll talk about how to identify which pest is infesting your plant. And it might not be an infestation yet, but these pests multiply quickly and it can be an infestation very soon if you don't treat it. Every garden experiences pests. There's just no getting around it. And I'm not even sure how they get brought in. Maybe nursery plants that you brought in, or the surrounding landscapes, but in our case, they're always here year-round. The first pest we're going to identify is aphids. And you can see here I have a little Toro trap. It's ant bait and it's a borax base. One of the keys, and we'll list them in a moment, is identifying the root cause. And the root cause of our aphid infestation is ants farming aphids. You can see these little boogers crawling everywhere. They are relentless. Apparently, they milk the aphids. I saw Epic Gardening had this very thorough video on ants farming aphids. And they're working 24/7. I read that they get very short naps, like 1 minute several times a day. So you can't keep up with all the aphids that they're placing unless you eradicate the ants. And this borax-based bait is designed so that they could take it back to the colony and everyone could be affected by it. But it's expensive, so we make our own. And it's different than the one circulating on the internet. That one didn't work for our environment. I guess we're too hot and it would solidify. It's taken us a while to fine tune, but it's working great now. We'll share the recipe at the end of this video. All right, so there are 4 keys in being successful battling aphids, whiteflies, mealybugs, and spider mites. The first one is remove the majority of the infected foliage. But it's going to depend on the plant you're treating. If you're treating chili pepper plants, then remove most of the bottom leaves that are near the soil, because when you flip the leaf over, and this one's pretty clean, but you'll see that the majority of the pests are under those bottom leaves. And in the case of aphids, a lot of the eggs are going to be there as well. You don't need the bottom leaves for the chili pepper plants, so it's easiest just to remove them and throw them in the green waste. Ideally, you want to get rid of all the eggs, but that could be pretty hard to do when you have a big bushy chili plant like this Carolina Reaper, 5-foot Carolina Reaper. So treating the plants every day for several days is needed if you live in a warm climate like ours. If you're in a cold climate, the eggs can overwinter, unfortunately, and it ends up being just a seasonal pest management. Here's some more information on aphids and their egg process. And here's an egg up close and what you're looking for. It's got a pretty golden shine to it. And it could be easily smashed, but I don't think that the soap penetrates the egg membrane. I'm going to have to do more testing on that. If you have an infestation on a tomato plant, and we'll show an example in a minute, then you can do a lot more foliage removal. The second key is to be consistent when treating your plants. Every day is necessary. When spraying the plants, the soap will dehydrate the aphid and whiteflies' bodies, but they travel around. Many more that were under the leaves will crawl on top of the leaves, and eggs are hatching all the time. So not all of them are getting sprayed when you treat it just one time. So consistency is very key, and spraying under the leaves as well as on top where the new leaf growth. And you can see here I'm spraying along the fabric pots as well. You could also see that the mixture I make is gentle enough to spray on little seedlings without causing leaf burn, and I've done extensive tests. You could see here's a test plant that's been sprayed with this mixture every day, sometimes twice a day, without rinsing, and the mixture is gentle enough to not cause leaf burn. I used to add much more Bronner soap. It was a stronger mixture, and Jimmy Pickles kind of connected the dots in my brain when he mentioned it just takes a little bit, and it's true. These guys are soft-bodied insects. It doesn't take much soap at all for them to dehydrate. And this way, there's no need to rinse the leaves off. But do your own testing, because I have done it, tests on the outside plants as well. But these ones inside the greenhouse do have a 40% shade cloth over them, so make sure you do your own testing on a leaf or two for a few days before you spray your entire plant. I also found that it's best to spray in the evening at dusk when the sun is going down. And if you have a severe infestation, I spray again in the morning, so sometimes twice a day. You could see where the soap has pooled at the tips of the leaves. Before, when I was doing a stronger mixture, I think it was more like a tablespoon of Bronner soap, then I would get leaf burn at the tips of the leaves. But now I'll go into how we make this mixture. And it may seem like not very much soap, but a little goes a long way. It's consistency that is the key. All right, so we like to use this Chapin 2-gallon pump sprayer. We fill it up with water first to the fill line, add some Dr. Bronner's sal suds. You can use also the Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap. And really it doesn't even have to be Dr. Bronner's, but just do test sprays. I just eyeball the amount, but it's pretty close to a teaspoon. Shake it up real good and apply. It's the same mixture for all of the soft-bodied pests, so we'll be looking at mealybugs next. Same mixture. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, mealybugs are a new one for us here on our pepper plants. I've seen them on our citrus trees before, but never on our pepper plants. This is a tide dragon. You could see it's a very unhappy plant infested with mealybugs. And if you look real close, sure enough, there's an ant farming the mealybugs. I don't know the reason why they farm mealybugs, but I'm sure it's similar to the aphids and whiteflies. And here's the same plant a couple weeks later after many applications. It's a very happy plant again. No signs of mealybugs or ants, which brings me to the third key, identifying the root cause. And in these situations, it's ants. It's the ants farming aphids, whiteflies, and the mealybugs. So in the situation of that tide dragon plant that we just looked at, if we hadn't addressed the root cause, the ants, with the borax bait, then they would have just brought more mealybugs in. So for our situation, us addressing the root cause was bringing in borax bait so that the ants would take the bait back to the colony and the colony would be wiped out. And we also had to seal up our greenhouses to eliminate any entrance where the ants are coming in at, because we basically live on an anthill. So it's just going to be another colony that comes in. So we sealed it up with silicone. Now let's get a closer look at whiteflies and how to identify them. Now it's shocking how fast aphids multiply, but man, whiteflies and spider mites, they blow them away. They multiply like crazy. So you could see the aphids are the light green ones. We got that one guy trucking along, and right below him is a whitefly. A good way to locate them is you're going to see some leaves with a shiny substance. It looks shiny and sticky. That sugary residue that they leave behind is called honeydew. And man, they really love these fabric pots, unfortunately, so it's easy to see them all over. I've read that some people use a diluted rubbing alcohol mixture, but since these guys are soft-bodied insects, then the soapy water is fine. And now let's identify the mealybugs. They're cottony-looking scales, and you could see that this ant is doing whatever he's doing. He's working at getting these mealybugs placed, I guess. I'm going to do more research. I'm just starting to learn about mealybugs. Look at the size of these leaves on this Reaper plant. I'm tempted to clear out the bottom leaves, but can you imagine how many insects I would have on me and in my hair? Yeah, and this plant's got a lot of whiteflies on it. It's actually representing mealybugs, whiteflies, and aphids. Thankfully, a soapy water mixture does the trick for these guys. I used to think years ago that neem oil was needed. And boy, that would be expensive if that was the case, because this is a part of maintenance with us growing, especially chili pepper plants. And the last soft-bodied pest we're going to look at is spider mites. And man, the infestations can make a plant look terrible, but they take the same treatment. Same soapy water mixture, but again, consistency is the key. Look at this webbing. There are so many spider mites crawling around on this expired tomato leaf. In the case of a spider mite infestation on a tomato plant, I dramatically remove a lot of the foliage. This plant was almost bare by the time I got done with it, but wait till the end. It's beautiful now. There's not too many negatives to using the correct amount of shade cloth in inland SoCal, but there is one, and that is out of sight, out of mind. This tomato plant had a 40% shade cloth over it so that we would not get blossom drop. With our high temperatures, the tomato plants start getting blossom drop. And I wasn't looking under the shade cloth. I think we had a windy day and it got moved around. I took it off and there was a massive spider mite infestation happening. So I harvested all the tomatoes and removed all the infected foliage, and then treated it with the Dr. Bronner soap mixture every day. The easiest way to identify a spider mite infestation is by the webbing, but you can also identify a spider mite issue before an infestation. You'll start seeing the leaves turning a lighter color. They'll look kind of speckled yellow and white. You'll see the same appearance on the stems. That is due to the spider mites sucking the chlorophyll out of the foliage. And although you may think your tomato plant is a lost cause, it's not. They bounce back so quickly, and they grow so fast. Look at this beautiful plant. In this case, I removed just about all the foliage. I just left some of the top that was not affected by the spider mites yet. At that point, it was tall and lanky without foliage on the stem, so I wrapped the stem around the container. I sprayed it with the soapy water mixture every day. I made sure to spray the soil and the container as well, and I only had to remove a few more leaves where the spider mites were trying to take hold. And now there's zero sign of spider mites. Yay! On this plant, that is. We have a large garden and many other areas that we have to address. And here's one more example of an extreme infestation of spider mites on our potato plant. You could see them running around on their little web highway. Got it treated with the soapy water mixture a few times, making sure to soak all of the foliage, spraying the soil and the container. And although this foliage was destroyed by the spider mites, the potato plant is producing. So this is the same potato plant in the same container. It's sprouted again, it's growing lots more foliage and no signs of spider mites. All right, that should cover it. And if I left anything out, I'll add it to a short. And here is the borax ant trap recipe. Make sure to follow and subscribe, and we'll do a short when we make the next batch. Enjoy your week and enjoy your garden.